good audio, and whoever sent like that picture, I guess it was you, it came through real clear.
No, this is KP4MD. I did not send any picture. I just started YouTube, and we're live on YouTube.
Okay, hey, would you like me to host the net?
If you could, I would appreciate it.
Alrighty then, this is Bill, K6KRQ. I am going to be the host. I'm going to start right now. Here we go. Because it is 9 p.m. Good evening. This is Bill, K6KRQ, your net control operator for the River City ARCS Slow Scan TV net. This net serves for training and practice in image transmission modes and meets Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. on the N6NA repeater on 441.3 megahertz. River City ARCS members and all licensed radio amateurs are welcome to participate. If you wish to join the net or need to make a call at any time, please announce your call sign between transmissions and net control will acknowledge you. If an emergency should arise and you need the repeater, please contact the net control by saying break, break. A double break signifies emergency traffic. The net will stand by for you until the emergency is terminated or the traffic is moved to another frequency. Stations who wish to check in are asked to respond with their full call sign using the recognized ITU phonetic alphabet and their name. I will recognize each station before continuing. Any station who wishes to check into the net, please come now.
November 6 Yankee, Germany, George and Lincoln, and that was me who sent that image.
Okay, George, I got you. Oh, yeah, good. That's kind of a good prelude. It lets anybody tuned in early know that it's going to happen. So I got George checked in. Is there anybody else?
November 6, Papa, Golf, Quebec, Bob in Northmost Roseville.
November 6 Hotel Alpha, Bill in Roseville.
Yeah, and KP4MD, Carol, Citrus Heights.
Okay, besides George, I got Bob. Hi, Bob, N6PGQ. Bill, N6AJ. Hello, Bill. And Carol, hello again, KP4MD. Where's Joel? Is Joel out? I guess not. Maybe he'll come along a little bit later. We'll call more. Hey, my other computer, Carol's not getting YouTube, so I can't greet anybody I see pop up there. So, anyway. So, George, you're first on the list. Do you have a picture that's ready to send after this one?
Yeah, I've got one queued up, and it's going to be coming out PD120 from N6YG.
That's definitely something. Before we go to comments, Carol K6, excuse me, KP4MD, is there anybody to greet on YouTube?
No, I don't see anybody logged on to our live chat right yet. Back to you.
Okay, very good. All right, I'm just going to go down the list. So Bob's going to be, N6PGQ. Bob, you get to make the first comment on this, interesting photo.
Okay, well, very few pixel pops, few here and there. When I go out and get in my car, put the key in the ignition and turn the key and the car starts up and I go down the road. This one apparently is a bus that you have to figure out Ohm's law, and when you do, I guess you can get the thing to go. So it's going to be real interesting to see where this came from and what the significance is in N6PGQ.
You and me both. Hey, Bill, N6AJ, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with Bob. It's a bus with Ohm's Law plastered all over it, which is kind of interesting. I see up top an RO emission, so I'm going to guess it's going to say 0 emissions on that bus. So it's probably an electric bus, so putting Ohm's Law on it is something to do. And there's quite a few pixel pops, especially coming from a picture from George. So I wonder if you turned your power down. And where did you take this? Is this a bus in Roseville? I don't take the bus that often, so where is it? N6HA.
Whatever the motive was for painting this like this, I bet it's a small percentage of the populace that gets it. Tell us about it, George, especially what motivated them to put that on there.
I have no idea what motivated them to do that. I almost missed it. This was Barb and I were up in Reno, and this was a few years ago, and we were, I don't remember, walking someplace, walking to Sam's or something, who knows, get something to eat. And we walked past this bus that was parked at a bus stop. And I guess I'm getting a little slow in my old age because I walked past it and I stopped and I said, wait a minute. And I turned and backed up and walked up. I said, the hell, that's Ohm's Law. What the heck is this? I've never seen Ohm's Law printed on the side of a city bus. And you're correct, it was a zero emission bus. So I guess they were promoting science or STEM or something. And I agree. I'm curious on how many people who see this understand what they're looking at. I mean, I understand ham radio operators would get it right away, but there maybe some school students or whatever. Yeah, very interesting. So that's the story behind that. N6YG.
Thank you, George. It is interesting to say the least. Any other comments on that? Okay, I was able to get my YouTube to work, so I see that we have Craig with us on YouTube. Welcome, Craig. It's good to have you. All right, so next, it's Bob, N6PGQ. Are you ready with a transmission?
I am, and this is PD120, N6PGQ.
another oddball one. You know, right when I was saying, oh, this is not getting a lot of pixel pops, that identifier slashed through it. But anyway, before I go on, I want to welcome Ted, KF8BTH, all the way from Ohio, tuning in. He says he's also decoding our images, too. He says, I'm also decoding live via Robot 36 on Android. Very good. And one more thing before I go on, is there anybody else that wants to check into the net? Please come now. All right, nothing heard. Okay, we're going to go to Carol this time for the first comment on this picture. Go ahead, Carol.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, this is KP4MD. I'm seeing what's looking like a tread of a tire that actually has letters, words, and it looks like skid. I can read upside down, and non, N-O-N. I wonder if that what it's saying is non-skid. Interesting tires, and it's interesting that they would actually spell words out on the treads there. But I was able to, I was actually hearing a lot of ticking from the Pave Pause radar up at Beale, but it's really kind of hard to pick out any pixel pops among the that picture there. But it's a really nice, clear picture. So back over to Net Controls, KP4MG.
Thank you, Carol. Let's hear what George has to say. Go ahead, George.
I don't have much to add that wasn't already added. I got an interference bar about quarter way down the image, and a few pixel pops, but overall the image came over well. And yeah, there is tire. I'm assuming this is a tire. I agree with Carol. It has little rubber nipples on the edges of the letters from the molding. So, and the letters are interesting as well. So, yeah, I'm going to be interested to see what this is from. So, back to Net from N6YG.
Thank you, George. I'm going to guess, before Bob tells us about it, I'm going to guess it's from his museum activities. So, go ahead, Bob. We're anxious to hear what it's about.
Well, you guys are sagacious. Yeah, those are Firestone non-skid tires, and they're on that particular set is on the rear of a dualies on a Model T, and those were made. Well, they're reproduced now, but those are made up through probably the mid 1950s. We had them on a 1922 Dodge that we had when I was a kid. So the interesting thing about them is that they would print, if you were driving through mud or snow, it would print the reversed image of the tires in the snow or the mud. Anyway, there they are, N6PGQ.
So those are at the museum, right?
Well, yes, they are.
Okay, very good. You know, I was just thinking, I was wondering if anybody had got any images from the Fram 2 Dragon trial run from the ISS. I wasn't able to get any with my gear, but I guess if anybody did, I would bet Bill N6HA might have some. So whatever you have for us, Bill, is it ready to send?
Yeah, Roger. Here, let me do a quick tone.
I got it.
It's going to be PD120 N6HA.
That's a pretty good picture. I'm going to have to geek out on this, but I'll have to wait till after the commentary. This is Bill, K6KRQ. Before I go to Bob for a comment, I see Ted in Ohio, KF8BTH. He was hip to the ISS project, and apparently he got at least one image, so I wish there was a way we could see it. So anyway, I'm going to go to Bob, N6PGQ, and tell us what you think. Go ahead, Bob.
Well, I made a comment before, but I'll try this one. Pixel pops are very few, so we have an antenna that, I don't know, 800 megs, something like that. Looks short. Piece of coax coming out with an adapter, probably an N connector, since it would be a fairly high frequency, going into some kind of a powered device. Has display on it, and I don't know what the blue tube is. It might just be a battery that powers the thing. So I'm going to be interested to hear what it is in 6PGQ.
Thanks, Bob. I kind of lost my order in the comment order. Let's go to George. Let's see what George has to say about it.
Oh, I may be wrong. I'm pretty sure that's an ESP32. It looks like it may even have a little display on top of it, although it might not. The image isn't that clear. The image came over pretty good with a few pixel pops. Yeah, that looks like a little battery pack powering an ESP32 over USB. And that's feeding, it looks like a Wi-Fi antenna through the Wi-Fi connection. Or it might be receiving. It could be. I'm wondering if this is part of the rotator project that Bill's working on. So yeah, it looks like an ESP32 feeding a Wi-Fi antenna.
Thank you, George. I'm going to guess too it's got something to do with Bill's satellite work. And being that I don't know a lot about it, I'm kind of struck by how short the elements are. But anyway, let's hear about it, Bill. What is it, and what's it for?
Yeah, thank you. Great guesses all around. Carol actually got it. It is a Meshtastic node. It's a Heltec V2, which I kind of regret buying. I had to compile the source from scratch to get the latest binary for this guy, and even then I'm having some trouble receiving people. So I upped the ante and I went from a rubber ducky to this 8-element beam, which is for 900 megahertz. It actually can do 800 and 900 megahertz. And I have a little battery pack on there. There's a little blue guy next to it. So I'm hoping to receive more signals with this Meshtastic node. It's pretty interesting. I haven't got out a lot with it yet, so I'm still learning. But I was thinking maybe I could get this into an enclosure with a little solar panel and put it up on the roof and see if I could hear anybody. It's a pretty cool technology. It does LoRa, so it's long-range communication, and then it communicates to your phone via Bluetooth to get the messages you receive from the network. So I do have a few ham-to-fram images, but they told us to hold off on sharing them. So maybe next week I'll share them, but they are not spectacular. It actually is very difficult to do that experiment at that power level, so I had a hard time. But I still got something, so next week you'll have to wait. N6HA.
Thanks, Bill. Hey, that's okay with me. It sounds like it was kind of difficult even with somebody with your expertise, so I'm looking forward to that. And thanks for the picture. That is kind of interesting. I see where Carol put on YouTube, is that a Meshtastic? So, very good. So speaking of Carol, it's going to be your turn, KP4MD. Are you ready for us?
Yes, I am, and here comes a picture PD120.
KRQ with the N6NA SSTV Net. I want to see if by chance we have any late check-ins. Nothing heard. And on YouTube, Ted from Ohio says, I got one good image, kind of echoing what Bill was just telling us. I got one good image. The other three are very rough. Yeah, same here. So anyway, I'll be looking forward to seeing them rough or otherwise. Let me see. Let's, since there's only 5 of us, let's go to Bob and see what he has to say.
Well, there's a couple of reprobates at the Sacramento HRO store. You can tell it's HRO because the person on the right has a bag that says ham radio outlet on it. And anyway, we just missed by 2. The 10,000th customer in the store got to pick a radio, and we were 9,998 and 9,999. Anyway, that's KL7HQR and me at HRO N6PGQ.
All right, very good. Bill, what do you got for it?
Yeah, quite a few pixel pops here. I was really confused when we got about a third way down. I started seeing those horizontal black lines of the board where they hang stuff off of, and I thought something was terribly wrong with the photo, but then I realized, oh, that's HRO. So yeah, Neil and Bob, looks like Bob bought something there. I wonder what you got. And then Jim's over there off the side working hard, I'm sure. And there's a weird lens flare coming from Jim. I don't know what's that about. I'm gonna guess Carol took this picture because she mentioned during the 40-meter net that she went to HRO after breakfast. So I haven't been to the candy store in a while. I need to sell more radios before I go indulge and make a little more money. But I need to visit again. It's been a bit. So I want to know what Bob got. What did Bob by? Maybe Carol will know. N6HA, back then.
Thanks, Bill. Hey, before we go to Carol, I want to say in my brief time doing this, I've been to that HRO just a few times, but that gent Jim that works there, he's real attentive. I don't think that dude has looked on his computer for anything that I've asked him for, not once. He's just zoomed right to it like he knows where everything is in the store already. But that said, let's have Carol tell us about the picture.
Yeah, this is KP4MD. I believe this was a picture a couple of months ago. Exactly, those are exactly the people there. And I believe we went over there after one of our River City Arts breakfasts. It must have been the one in December because that sparkle that you see right in front of Jim is actually a Christmas ornament. It's, I believe, one of those LED lit acrylic things with the starburst, and it was all lit up, and you could see, I believe, some of the other Christmas decorations on the wall there. Yeah, I can't say what was inside that bag, but I'm sure probably Bob remembers what he was carrying in there. So really nice picture, nice pose there, and of course has a little inset there of the 900 megahertz Yagi antenna with your mesh-tastic. Yeah, I kind of guessed it was a mesh-tastic because that thing that was plugged into the antenna, either it was something like one of those RTL SDR dongles, but I immediately saw that it has a little LED screen on it. And the only things that I know to have those little LED screens that have radios on them are those mesh-tastic nodes. So thank you very much for sharing that. Back over to Net Control. It's KP4MD.
Thank you, Carol. So, Bob, what is in the bag?
Oh, just a couple of Anderson power pole cables, and I can't remember what else is in there. I think a UHF to SMA connector. Anyway, nothing big, unfortunately, N6 PGQ.
Oh, darn. All right, thank you, Bob. All right, I'm going to send you all one now, being my turn at the bottom of the list. So it'll be PD120. Here it comes. I can tell when I do this that there's a lag time to YouTube. So I'm going to go right to the top for commentary, and that would be George, N6YG. Go ahead, George.
I apologize. I got sidetracked, so I had to pull the picture up, and this looks real familiar, but having a senior moment right now, so I'm going to go ahead and pass it on. Oh, I will say that the picture came over relatively well. There's a few pixel pops in the sky, and that's about it. I see a little bit of a Morier pattern again in this the statue the closest to us here, and I'm not sure if that's on my end or if that was transmitted. I'll have to check my settings again. Anyhow, back to net, N6YG.
All right, let's go to second on the list, Bob, N6PGQ.
Okay, yeah, not too many pixel pops. There's a kind of a glob up in the upper eighth of the picture. I don't know whether it's a bird's nest or just something sitting up there. George, the pattern that you're describing is not on my reception, so you may want to check your settings. Anyway, we have a picture of a group of soldiers walking up steps, an American flag in the middle. I have not seen this location at all, but I would guess from the style of the uniforms that this might be a World War II memorial. Anyway, be interested to know where it is and when the picture was taken, N6PGQ.
Close. How about Bill? What do you think?
Yeah, a very good photo, very few pixel pops, good composition. I believe this is the Korean War Um, I think this is a Korean War memorial in Washington. If I think so. I haven't been to it myself, but I think I've seen pictures of it. So it's pretty cool. I wonder where you went. When did you go to this? And that was a good shot. So very cool. N6HA.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I want to comment on the Morier pattern. It's not really a Morier pattern. I think that's actually texture in the statue that I'm seeing, because I don't see it in the steps right next to him. So I just think it's a texture pattern.
I never noticed that. This is Bill, K6KRQ. I never noticed that. It looks like Carol knew what it was because she put it on YouTube. I don't remember if it was the texture or not. But anyway, that is, Bill was right also, that is the Korean War Memorial in Washington, D.C. It's right, it's the Vietnam Memorial, if I remember right, is just to the left across the mall. I took this the same trip I took the picture of the big rail gun and the armor on the lawn at Aberdeen. But this was quite a... My father was a Korean War veteran, and this was kind of eerie. And you know, I had never heard of it, I never saw it, and I've never seen it on TV. And now that I look at this, I can see the Washington Monument to the left of the closest soldier's helmet. But anyway, that's the story on that one. I'm going to let it drop. So it's, again, this is Bill, K6KRQ. It's only 20 minutes of the hour. Does anybody have any other images they'd like to send?
Well, if no one has one, I'm sure I can find something to send.
You got to at least give us one of your finale shots.
Well, I have one. I had one of those lined up, but I just changed it. Let's see. All right, I'm ready.
All right, let it go. Pretty neat. I think I know what it is, but we're going to let Carol, KP4MD, have the first go at it. Go ahead, Carol.
Okay, I have absolutely no idea. It's just some sort of an antique car. Gen 11 was the license plate. I have no idea where this is, but it looks like in some sort of amusement park or something. And it's an antique. But yeah, the only interference I see is there's a stripe in the lower 2/3 of the picture, that's probably the repeater ID. But very good reception and maybe just about half a dozen pixel pops. Back over to you, KP for MD.
Thank you, Carol. So I'm thinking that this is right up Bob N6 PGQ's alley. What do you say, Bob?
Oh boy, you put me on the spot. Well, it's a car I don't recognize. It's got right-hand drive, because the driver and the brake lever are on the right side of the car. A couple interesting things to mention. The spare is a spare wheel and tire without the spokes, and so the clamps that hold the wheel to the spoke assembly would have to be unbolted and then hooked onto the other wheel. It's obviously at some event. I don't know if it's an amusement park or or a auto show or something like that. But I'll be interested to know where the picture came from and all that kind of good stuff in 6PGQ.
Comment?
I was going to go to you next anyway, Bill, since we're a small group and it's kind of early. Go ahead.
Yeah, I may be wrong, but since it's an amusement park, I think that's Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, but it's been so long since I've seen that movie. It's just a flying car. So I don't know if that's it or not, but it reminded me of that, so I'm not sure if it is Chitty Chitty Bang Bang or something else. It's an odd-looking car otherwise, N6HA.
That's what was my guess also. So, but let's find out the real story. Go ahead, George.
Yeah, absolutely. This picture was sent to me by a friend in England, and it is the original car, the main vehicle. I had to look it up again for the filming of the 1968 movie Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. It had a 3.0-liter V6 Ford engine in it, and it was all custom made. The whole thing was handmade. The back end compartment, I have another picture that shows the rear of it. It looks like you're looking at the back of a boat, a caulking style lap straight construction, and that was built by a boat maker, and it was really interesting. The dashboard was out of a World War II plane, if I remember correctly, all sorts of interesting things. And I guess it recently sold at auction for close to $1 million, so very interesting vehicle. I do have another picture of it. I gotta find it, and I'll send it sometime of the back end of this car. So all handmade. It's very, very impressive. N6YG.
Thanks for that, George. That's a pretty good picture. You know, Dick Van Dyke that was in that, he's still alive. He's 99 years old. And the last I knew, he lived down there in the Pacific Palisades, down where all the fires were, because he was a member of one of the churches in the archdiocese down there. I think Corpus Christi. So, but anyway, so. Does anybody have anything else or any burning desires?
Yeah, I have one last comment.
Go ahead, George.
Talking about Dick Van Dyke, I actually met him when I was younger. He used to come into the Malibu Sea Line where my mom worked, and so I met him several times. So that's kind of, in fact, I think I have his autograph on one of the Malibu Sea Line. I got a ton of autographs on Malibu Sea Line napkins. So, anyhow, thought you might find that interesting. And yes, I still watch him. I still like to watch him on the Dick Van Dyke Show with Mary Tyler Moore. That's somewhat funny with Rose Marie and who's the other comic? I forgot. Those are old stand-up comics that are pretty funny. Anyhow, back to Net N6. Maury Amsterdam. That's right. N6YG.
The Malibu Sea Line. That's a walk down memory lane. I don't know if that was still there or if it wasn't. It got burned, but man, that brings it back for me. Anyway, any more comments, questions, burning desires? All right then. Well, I'd like to first. I want to thank all of you guys and gals and our 2 YouTube viewers tonight, Craig and Ted. It's always good to have the YouTube commentary and input. I appreciate it. So I'll read the final here. Thanks to all who participated in tonight's SSTV Net. We hope to see you again next Wednesday at 9 p.m. This net is officially closed at 9:47 p.m. This is Bill, K6KRQ, wishing all of you a good evening. And thanks again. That was really enjoyable. I appreciate it. Good night.